Welcome to the Evergreen Starter Game rulebook. The rich biodiversity of Sri Lanka is at risk. We need your help to save our precious Mother Nature from evil forces. This is the starter game of Evergreen. This is created for kids from age 6 to 10, and for all the players who are new to the world of Evergreen. As any player progresses in this game successfully, that player can easily move to the Evergreen main game and play that game. Some of the rules are a little different to the main game, so read below instructions carefully so you can easily learn to play Evergreen and have a great time with this game. Now let's understand what you get inside the Evergreen box. First, you get the board. Set the board on a table or the floor. This is the island of Sri Lanka you see. In it, you can see areas of dark green, light green, yellow and blue. These are very special forests in Sri Lanka that are still surviving barely. Let's see what each of these colors represent. Dark green represent dry zone forests. Light green represent tropical wetland forests. Yellow represent tropical highland forests. Blue represent mangrove forests. You do not need to remember them in order to play the game. You will get used to them as you are playing. You can find more details about each of these forests in the rulebook inside the game box. Now take a look at the pawns. What you need in order to play this game: red, green and white pawns. Red, green, and character cards. The game board. How to set up the board. Take the game board, place it on a table or the floor, and keep 2 green pawns in each of the forests you see. Now you must have 24 green pawns on the board, with each forest having 2. Green pawns are general trees and worth 1 point each. Place your white pawn on a blue, purple point at the start. In a multiplayer game, place each character pawn in different blue/purple points. Then take the green cards. These are your chances cards. See that there is a number written on the top right corner in some of these cards. Separate cards with a negative number on it to a different card deck, and all the other cards to a different card set. Now you can choose the difficulty level you want to play this game. Children's level, remove random 6 cards from the negative number card set. Easy level, remove random 3 cards from the negative number card set. Normal level, do not remove any cards from any card set. Take the rest of the cards in both green card sets you have created and mix them together. Shuffle the card sets well and place it in the chances card deck marked on the board. Then take the cards with the red color on the back. These are the risk cards. Make sure the numbers on them are from 1 to 12 in order and place these cards on one of the red squares on the board. They should be placed such that the backside of the card is facing up, with number 1 on the top and number 12 on the bottom of the pack. Basic rules. Great! Now it's time to learn the rules of the game and how it should be played. Let's learn the basic rules of how to play Evergreen. Basic rules. At the start, each player is given 1 character pawn, 1 white color pawn. Each player places the pawn on any of the 4 purple color rounds marked as ports around the country. These are the ports of Sri Lanka. Each player should choose a separate port, any port, and place the pawn on it. Players take turns performing actions on the board. In your turn, you get to move your character pawn, that is your white pawn. You can move your white pawn on any black color points on the map, or points denoted by letter C. You also can grow trees in your turn. You get to decide in which order to grow trees and move around in the map during your turn. But keep in mind, you can only perform 3 actions within your turn, and you can only grow maximum of 2 trees within your turn. As an example, let's say in your turn, you move 1 point, that's action 1, and then to another point, that's action 2, and then grow a green tree in this forest, that's the third and final action. You can grow up to 2 green trees anytime you want in any forest. To grow red tree, you need a chance card. Don't worry, I will explain this later. Let's say you want to move 1 point and then grow 2 green trees here. You can do that. Or let's say you are here at the beginning and you want to grow 1 or 2 trees. And then move to a different place like this. Or else you can move 1 point to this forest, grow 1 green tree and move to this point. Let's say you want to move to 3 places in your turn without growing trees. You can do that too. All these movements add up to 3 actions: moving and growing trees. As long as you only perform 3 actions and grow only 2 trees, you can do any actions within the board. Great! Just remember you can move between any purple point if your white pawn lands on one of them. Let's say your white pawn comes to this purple position, which is a port of Sri Lanka. You can take your character pawn to any of these 4 purple color ports without taking up an action. Which means movement between ports are not considered as actions. These 3 actions you performed, either by moving or growing trees, is called the first mandatory task you need to do in your player turn. After doing 3 actions, you need to take 1 risk card, which is this red card. Turn it over and place it on this deck like this. Now read the number and the forest name written on the card you flipped. Remove 1 tree, red or green, from that forest type. If there are no trees in that forest, remove 2 trees from forests of the same type. That's the second mandatory task. That's it. That's what you can do in your turn. Now the next player has to do the same thing, that is, do 3 actions and flip the red card. Easy. Now let's understand what these cards are in detail. You already know about the red color cards. They are called risk cards, and they tell what the enemy is doing, which is cutting down trees. Now look at these green cards. These are the most important cards in the game. These are called chances cards. You can get a chance card when your pawn is on one of these places with the letter C. When you are on the letter C, you can decide to take a chance card from this deck. Now this chance card is a tree card. If you get a card like this, you are lucky. You get to keep this card and use it whenever you like during the game. This is a positive chance card. It's also a good card to get even though a tree is not in it. You can keep this card also in your hand and use it whenever you want. Let's say you want to use one of your chance cards in your turn. Notice this number O, the card. That is the value of this card. The background circle color represents which forest type you need to go to in order to grow this tree. Great! Now if you are in this dark green forest, you can use this card to grow a red tree in this forest. Place your chance card on this deck so that you can clearly see the number on the card, and then place a red pawn on the forest. Good stuff. Now you have 2 more points added to that forest type. To activate a positive chance card without a tree, read the description written on it carefully. To activate this particular card, the forest you are in should have a red tree already grown on it. Once you are in a forest with a red tree, you can activate this card by placing this card on this deck and making this forest a sanctuary. Great! Now this forest is protected from risk cards. You can exchange your chance card with any other player during your play turn by using one of your actions out of the 3. Simply hand over the card to that player in your turn, and now you only have 2 other actions to perform in your turn. But be careful when you take a chance card. If your chance card has a negative sign like this, then you have received a negative card. Too bad. Negative cards should be activated right at that moment. In this card, it says -3, which means you need to remove 3 trees, green or red, from the forest type denoted by this color. This happens immediately, whether it's your turn or not. There is another way to get chance cards. As soon as all 12 cards are flipped in the risk card set, all players get 1 chance card each from this chance card deck. You can keep the tree cards and positive cards for later rounds, but have to do what is in the negative card set immediately. After this, place all risk cards back like this and start from the first risk card in the next round. These are called character cards. At the beginning of the game, all the players get a character card. In the description of the character card, you get a special power unique to the character. During the play, you can activate this power only 1 time, similar to a chance card, using one of your actions in Mandatory Task 1. After activation, place the character card in the discard pile deck, so that you will not be able to activate the card again. How to win the game? You have to travel to forests and grow trees on them. You can only grow a maximum of 5 trees, red and green total, in one forest. You need to grow trees in each forest type up to 14 points. Each green tree is worth 1 point, and the value of red tree is written on the corresponding chance card. Once you grow trees worth of 14 points, you win that forest type and trees are no longer cut down for any reason. Let's say you were able to grow trees up to 14 points in this forest type. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and another 2 from this red tree denoted in this chance card. Another 4 from this red tree denoted by this chance card. That adds up to 14. Well done. From now on, no tree is cut down from that forest type. Let's say that after this, when you continue playing your turn, a red card with forest number belonging to a blue forest type comes up. Now you do not have to take a pawn from the blue forest. Instead, flip another red risk card like this and take out a pawn from that forest. Tips to win the game of Evergreen. Our Mother Nature is all about balance. For our rich biodiversity to survive, all kinds of forests and all kinds of trees need to be preserved. Similarly, the Evergreen game is also about balance. If you want to win comfortably, make sure to grow trees in every forest. Don't rush to win one forest type in the beginning. You might notice that as the game progresses, it becomes harder to win. In order to win, you need to have trees in all forest types evenly. If there is only one tree in a forest or no trees, give a lot of attention to those forests and quickly grow trees in them. If a forest has 3 or more trees, then that forest is secure for now. You can focus on other forests. Before trying to win a forest type, we suggest having at least 10 points for each forest type with trees spread in all forests. And then focusing on winning forest types. If again, a forest becomes low in points, quickly deviate from your plan and grow trees in that forest before focusing on winning. Always move all around the map and focus on every forest. Try to predict which forests will be targeted in the future by risk cards, and focus on those forest types. Once a forest type is won, you can use the green trees in those forests for other forests, as that forest type has been won and is no longer part of the play. That's it. That's all you need to know in order to play the starter game of Evergreen. Enjoy and have a ton of fun playing it. If you want to, you can switch to the main game of Evergreen by reading the other rule book. That game is not much different to this, except there are a few more adventures you can do during the game. Try that as well. Good luck!